you hear me? Well, just obviously just, disappointed in the fact that, with the loss last week to Baylor, nobody is hurting any worse than our players after that ball game. I thought our effort was tremendous. Thought our kids played extremely hard. They, as I've said many times, they played big in the moment. They deserve to be in that moment, and they can be successful in that moment. There's no doubt. I think when you look at their program and where our program is heading, the difference between a top 15, top 20 team and where we are right now is a matter of about 5 plays. I firmly believe that. I think this football team is so much better than it was week 1, from week 1 to week 2. And as a coach, as a head coach, that was my biggest goal coming into this game. Is obviously you want to win the ball game. There's no doubt about that. But I wanted to see a much improved football team from week 1 to week 2, and we did. We still made some critical mistakes and some very inopportune times that had a direct reflection to the outcome of the game. I want to give Baylor credit. They were able to make the plays when they had to make them, and they created some turnovers and capitalized on those turnovers by scoring 17 points off of our 4 turnovers. We get three turnovers and score 0 points. And I think if you look at that, especially where we are on the field, when we it cost us a couple of turnovers, it took points off the board. If we're able to go down and take the 2 interceptions and put points on the board, I think it's a battle all the way to the very end, late in the fourth quarter. But we're not able to do that. Unfortunately, when you play young guys, as I told you before this season started, we were going to be a young football team again this year. And due to some injuries, we've had to play a lot of young guys. And for Ben Hicks to get his first start, very pleased with the way he played, especially in the first half. But when you have mistakes, it usually comes in pairs, especially with young guys. And that was no different last Saturday. We couldn't. It took us several plays to let the last one go. And prime example is on both interceptions. The very next time the offense touches the ball, one of them, we fumble it right before half, and it gives them opportunity to tie the game at halftime with a field goal. And the other interception led to the very next offensive snap was a pick 6. And so they come in pairs. You got to eliminate that. And this football team will. This will be a better football team this week than it was last week. Again, I love our effort. I love where we are as far as building this program and where we were just a year ago at this time, playing the same 2 opponents. So there's no doubt in my mind we're heading in the right direction. But we've got a big task ahead this week. So with Liberty coming in here, we all know a year ago when we played James Madison, what it did to this football team and what it did to this program. It was we felt the same that we're feeling right now. We felt like our guys had played hard for 2 solid weeks, and that we were definitely trending upward. And when James Madison came in here and we lost that game, it was and then up 23-0 the next week on East Carolina. We could never pull ourselves out of a tailspin. And it cost us that one, and obviously getting beat by Tulsa the very next week after that. So that game left its mark on this program last year, and that's something that we're going to learn from. This team is extremely talented. They're really good. They're a very rich in tradition football program. Being out on the East Coast, I know a lot about Liberty. Obviously, Turner Gill is a phenomenal coach. And we all know what he's done in college football as a player and as a coach, and he's got these guys playing exceptionally hard. This is a tough opponent for us. Let me just tell you, there's nobody in this building taking this team for granted, and this team is not going to be intimidated because they're coming and playing a Division I opponent in Dallas, Texas. I can promise you that. These guys step on the stage with some of the biggest in all of college football, and They opened up against Virginia Tech and battled them to the wire. They played West Virginia last year and battled them to the wire. And so we got our work cut out for us. But our guys will be ready to go, and I want to continue to see the excitement level and the energy that we play with, because at the end of the day, it's about the SMU Mustangs and how we can continue to get better and can control the things we can control. So with that, I'll open up for questions. Well, I think Ben plays. He's got great confidence. You know, that's the one thing about Ben. He's extremely intelligent. Has put in a lot of time and effort for that moment. I thought the first half he played really, really well. But one of the things that Ben's got to work on is when something does go wrong, because it will, that you've got to be able to move on. You got to hit the reset button and you got to move on. And so I think that's one of the things that he's got to really work on and continue to work on. But I think he's got a phenomenal career ahead of him. He'll only get better every game. You got to remember the last time that this kid took a starting snap was when he was a senior in high school. So it's been almost 2 years. And for him to come out on the stage that he came out on and play just almost flawless in the first half, it says a lot about him, and it says a lot about our future of where we're heading with Ben, and how he's been able to operate this system. So he's got to do a lot of things better, though. We all do. But Ben is definitely heading in the right direction. He'll get better. You'll see a better Ben Hicks this week than you did last week. Our players have confidence in him. Our team has confidence in him, and that's the main thing.
When you got Ben ready for his first start, how much did you simplify your offense, if at all, and how much will you start to open it up again as he gets more comfortable on a week?
Well, we really didn't simplify anything. Ben's strengths obviously, and Matt's strengths are they're different. Matt has the ability to get out of trouble with his feet, so you involve the quarterback run game a little bit more with Matt, and so more than you would Ben, even though Ben still can run with the football, and he's got to be a threat. But we'll continue to grow the offense, but we may grow it in a different direction with him in there. But we didn't scale anything back for him. I mean, we feel like he's been in here just as long as Matt has in this system, because he came in the same time we came in. So that's good to see, and it was good to see him get rid of the ball. I thought that we cut down on our sacks. I thought our pass protection was really good, and that gives him a chance. And there was one that we gave up. I believe we gave up a sack on that. We actually have Shelby Walker open right down the middle. Gonna open up. Ben steps up, and we gave up pressure on our right side, and that was the only really main pressure that he got. Yeah, he was a young man that really, he never took an official visit here on campus. He came up on the last Sunday and before it went dead period, and I remember sitting in the press box up here meeting with he and his dad and sharing our vision and sharing what this culture is going to be about. But a guy like that, the program he came out of at Midway High School, and the coach that he played for, and Coach Gamble. And so he was coached hard, coached well, had won at a high level. And that's what you want to build your program on, and have your quarterback coming in on as one of your first commitments, or guys coming on board that first January with you. So.
When you say you were 5 big plays away from how would you judge that last year? How many plays away?
I thought last year was a tale of a few different things. I mean, obviously we we squander an opportunity to go ahead or tie the game up right before half. We're mismanaging some time issues, and in the second half we played well. From midway through the third quarter, and then it got away from us. But it wasn't so much we didn't have the turnovers that we had a year ago. in that ball game that resulted in direct points for Baylor. Whereas opposed to last week, you come out and we take the second drive down and we got 3rd and 2 on the 8-yard line and we can't convert. We settle for a field goal, which is what you do. Then you get an interception and 1st and goal on the 18 or 1st and 10 on the 18 and get no points, give up the ball. And then the block punt, the roughing the punter call was critical because it continued to drive and allowed them to get 3 points. And then we come back and again another play would be 1st and 10 or 1st and goal or 1st and 10 on the 12 and throw a pick that gets to a Cortland that's wide open in the back of the end zone and it gets returned. And the very next play they flip it. Or in the very next offensive possession, we throw a pick 6. So both of those, that was 17 points right there. And then, I thought really critical point was a hands to the face to start the second half. We got them. We've got them 3 and out, and we get a hands to the face call. It carried on the drive, and they went and scored a touchdown and went up 13-6. So, 4 or 5 plays right there. But again, that comes in every ball game of that magnitude. Those make it, win the game. Those that don't usually don't win the game.
Do you think back to last year, though? Would you consider progress made between year 1 and year 2 versus Baylor? So how do you relay that to your team in the loss?
Well, I think that they see it. Yes, absolutely, much different feel right now. The progress, the confidence level, the way that we're playing defensive football right now, I think is the biggest difference. I think defensively we're playing with relentless passion. I think you're seeing guys fly all over the field. We're tackling much better than we did a year ago. I think from that standpoint alone, I thought defensively we played well enough to win. And to say that Baylor hasn't scored a touchdown in the first half of a ball game, and I think they told me 8 years. And so, it says something about how our defense is playing. So those guys are playing with great confidence right now. And so that alone, to me, is the difference between year 1 and year 2 right now. Now we've got to continue to play that, and especially when you look out there and you see so many freshmen and sophomores on the field. There was literally a time in the critical moments of the game that we had all freshmen and sophomores on the field, every one of them. And you got to think at that moment while you don't want to play young guys, or you try not to play young guys, you got to feel like at some point that experience is going to pay off. And what's happened is our young guys are pushing our older players, and our older players are holding our younger guys accountable. And there's a great mixture right there. This is a very close-knit football team, and I've said that several times. A very, very close football team, and our culture is set. It's not going to waver. We know who we are, and we know what we stand for, and we're going to keep trending in the right direction.
And you lose a guy like Matt Davis,
Yep.
who's so important on the field, but also as a senior leader. Is the adjustment bigger for you and your staff, or for the teammates who have to run the offense with a new quarterback?
Well, I think the adjustment is for everybody involved. I think Ben and actually Matt would be the first to tell you that he's just as much a part of this football team right now, and his leadership, and than anything. I think Ben understands that Matt's the leader of our football team, and Matt has done a great job of leading by example, and Ben wants to follow suit with it. Our football team understands that, man, the confidence that our coaching staff has in Ben, our confidence that our players have in Ben is incredible, and their support is great. You had Justin Lawler and the Sept Miners, man, they're coming up, and Darren Maline's coming up, and just, man, Coach, we're supportive. We're excited about Ben, and those guys right there that you need that leadership to carry forward, because it is what it is. And it's Ben's show, and Ben's going to continue to get better every week.
Is Ben somewhat representative of the youth that you want this team to embody in this year?
Well, I think so. Ben has been extremely confident, but I think you look across the board and you see a Kamen Freeman and his confidence level. I mean, the stage wasn't too big for that guy. He's a true freshman. This guy's going to be a dynamic football player before he's through here. You got Braden West. You were without Xavier Jones last week, which is an incredible football player for us, and hope to have him back this week. His leadership. So there's a lot of guys, youthful guys, we're playing with great confidence right now. Obviously, we know what Cortland Sutton's done, James Prochet, what he's doing, Xavier Castile, and it goes on and on with these guys. Then you look on the defense side of the ball, Mikael Onu. He's as confident a football player as anybody I've ever been around. He believes in his system. He believes in his talent. The guy's only lost 2 high school football games in his entire career. And I told him that the other day. I said, there's a lot of the majority of the reason why a lot of you guys are here. Obviously, we know the talent level that you have, but you're here because you know how to win. You won in high school, and we got some high school programs that these kids come from that are as good as anything I've ever been around, and they know how to win. And so that's when you have adverse times, you got guys that you fall back on that know how to win. That's been a part of winning programs, and so but yeah, he exemplifies, as a lot of those young guys do, of the confidence level these guys have. Eric Sutton's another one, and Christian Davis, and I mean, it just goes on and on. Demrick Gary, Michael Badajoe, these are guys are going to be, you're going to hear these names for a long time. But anyways, we're excited about that, and excited about our older guys. Yes, sir.
I know a couple of times early in the game, had a 4th down and no man's land for the punt, and then a little over a minute and a half, you decided to take it and tie it at. What was your thought process?
Well, we had just came off of a fumble, and I wanted, and you're deep in your own territory. We actually run the ball out just a little bit and try to see if we can't break one. I didn't want to compound things when we had just had an opportunities to make some plays, and we gave them 3 points. So that was my decision. I wanted to get to half and kind of regroup. Our defense was on the field for 103 snaps. We're not built for that right now. We're trying to create depth. We got Jordan White that played 115 snaps the other night and played all defensive snaps and played all special team snaps and never once asked to come out. And so we did not have anybody over there that was asking to come off the field. And so that alone right there, that's kind of the unknowns, the silent stuff that you don't ever hear about from the outside. But as a coach, you know your culture is kicking in. You know it's taking over when you got guys that are, coach, whatever I got to do. And extremely proud of where we are with our mindset. And but that was my decision. Obviously, Coach Craddock and those guys, man, they'd have loved to kept pushing the envelope, but I wanted to get us to the halftime and regroup at that point.
I know Colin Rock was down here as quarterback. Now is that a move for him on the scout team or just getting ready?
Well, it's an emergency plan. Obviously, he's really a safety for us. Played quarterback in high school, but with the injury to Matt and our lack of quarterback depth, we've got to have a backup plan. But he'll go back. He'll go back on the defense side of the ball.
You guys have scripted Ben and Matt starting now with Ben's your guy. You're playing any kind of script series for Darryl?
Well, you would like to. You really would. But we'll see right now. I think right now the most important thing is to grow Ben's confidence and to continue to push him. But you would like to see that you do something in there that gets these guys some playing time in some critical situations. There's no question on that. Yes.
You mentioned Xavier Jones. He was on the sideline in pads the other day. How close was he to playing, and what other injuries can you update him?
Well, he was. It was a game time decision, and he just didn't feel good, and wasn't at 100%. And I knew that if he wasn't at 100%, I needed him 100% this week, and or weeks to come. And so that was a decision that we made, me and the doctors made. So we'll see at that point, but. Anyways, that was scripted, by the way. But so, anyways, yeah, Xavier is needless to say, that's the first time that's ever happened. So, But I would say Xavier. Hopefully Xavier will be ready this week. And then other injuries that we have, there'll be some guys that'll be questionable. Nick Horton will be questionable. Game time decision on him. But I think that's about it.
Is there anything in Matt applying for an extra year?
Yeah, it is, and we're going to exhaust all avenues to get that done, especially with it happening in the first game, to see if you can't get his 6th year back. Obviously, there's no guarantees in that right now. Nobody knows that for sure. That's a decision that the NCAA will make, but we're prepared to move on with the paperwork, to file that paperwork to get that 6th year back. But again, that's I don't know if I can answer that, because I don't think I could have nobody here at our university could say a definite one way or the other on it. So I think but we will definitely apply for to get that 6th year back for him.
But has he said he wants to apply?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. We talked about possibly seeing if he could rehab it, play a little bit on it. But it's just not worth it. If we had a game left and it was a meaningful game, then you look at that and see if you look at the way a lot of things can it hurt any more structural damage. If you can, then you don't do it. If you can't hurt it anymore, and if you had one game left, you look at it and you just weigh the odds on it. Obviously, if we had one game left, then his career basically from a college career is over with. He would probably make the decision what to do, yes or no. At that point, we would definitely put it in his hands and the doctor's hands. But this is a no-brainer. This is with the entire season ahead of yourself. You've got to get it fixed. You got to get it fixed now, and in order to rehab to get you back for next year, providing everything works out. So we're going to move on with the paperwork. I do know that. I've talked to our doctors and our administration, and everybody's prepared to move forward with him.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.